Snow White and Red Rose. Once upon a time, in a small cottage by the edge of a vast forest, there lived a kind widow with her two beautiful daughters. In front of their home, two rose bushes stood side by side, one blooming with delicate white roses, the other with vibrant red ones. The loving mother often compared her daughters to these flowers and lovingly named them Snow White and Rose Red. The two sisters were inseparable, always playing together in harmony. Snow White was gentle and calm, while Rose Red was lively and adventurous. Despite their differences, they cared for each other deeply and brought warmth and joy to their mother's heart. One cold winter night, as the wind howled outside, there was a sudden knock at the door. Startled, Rose Red rushed to open it. To her great surprise, a large bear stood before her, shaking from the bitter cold. The girl gasped and stepped back in fear, but the bear spoke in a gentle voice. "Please, do not be afraid," he said. "I only seek warmth by your fire. The cold is unbearable." Seeing the bear shiver, the girl's mother took pity on him and welcomed him inside. The bear settled near the fireplace, sighing with relief as the warmth enveloped him. Snow White and Rose Red, overcoming their initial fear, soon found the bear to be kind and playful. They laughed and played together, rolling across the wooden floor, their giggles filling the cozy cottage. Night after night, the bear returned, and he became part of their family. But as the snow melted and spring arrived, the bear grew restless. "I must leave now," he told them one morning. "I have treasures hidden in the forest, and I must protect them from a wicked dwarf who seeks to steal them." The sisters felt a pang of sadness, but they understood. They watched as their dear friend disappeared into the trees, promising to return one day. Not long after, while wandering in the woods, Snow White and Rose Red stumbled upon a peculiar sight. A tiny man with a long beard caught in the roots of an old tree. His beard was hopelessly tangled, and he struggled desperately to free himself. "Help me, you silly girls! Don't just stand there!" he snapped impatiently. The kind-hearted sisters hurried to help, but the beard was too knotted. With no other choice, Rose Red carefully took out a small knife and cut the tangled hair, freeing the dwarf. Instead of thanking them, he shrieked in rage. "You fools! You've ruined my beautiful beard!" he scolded before snatching up a small sack of jewels and vanishing into the woods. The sisters, stunned by his rudeness, continued their walk, shaking their heads at the dwarf's ungratefulness. Days later, near a shimmering stream, they saw the same dwarf struggling once again. This time, his beard was caught in a fishing line. A large fish had taken the bait and was pulling him toward the water. Acting quickly, Snow White grabbed hold of the dwarf, while Rose Red carefully cut the tangled strands. Once freed, instead of expressing gratitude, the dwarf stomped his foot in fury. "How dare you touch my beard again, you clumsy girls!" he barked before vanishing once more, his tiny sack of gold jingling as he ran. Another day, while walking along a mountain path, they spotted the dwarf once again. This time, he was emptying a sack of sparkling gemstones onto the ground. The sun reflected off the precious stones, making them shimmer like stars. Just as the sisters were about to leave, a loud growl filled the air. They turned to see a bear emerging from the trees. The dwarf shrieked in terror and tried to flee, but before he could escape, the bear caught him in his mighty paws. Trembling, the dwarf pleaded, "Please, spare me. Take these girls instead. They are much bigger than me and would make a tastier meal." The bear ignored him and, with a single strike of his paw, put an end to the wicked dwarf's evil deeds. The sisters gasped in shock, but then the bear turned to them and spoke in a voice they knew well. "Do not be afraid, my dear friends. "It is I." At that moment, the bear's heavy fur fell away, revealing a handsome prince beneath. The sisters could hardly believe their eyes. "The wicked dwarf stole my family's treasure and cursed me to live as a bear," the prince explained. "Now that he is gone, the spell is broken." Filled with joy, Snow White and the prince soon fell in love, while Rose Red's heart found happiness with the prince's brother. A grand wedding was held, and their mother was overjoyed to see her daughters so happy. Snow White and Rose Red moved into the prince's magnificent castle, but they never forgot their little cottage by the forest. Love, kindness, and happiness filled their lives, and they lived joyfully ever after. Moral of the story: kindness and goodness will always be rewarded, even in the most unexpected ways.